Hi, welcome to PTMEAL Physical Therapy Podcast TV. Welcome back to. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what to call this segment, but let's just go with it. TV. All right. Welcome back to PTMEAL. Welcome to the first ever episode of PTMEAL Physical Therapy Podcast TV. This is your host Johan De La Paz, and welcome to the show. Before anything else, I would just like to give a shout out, a big thank you to everyone who's listening or who has listened to an episode or two of the show, PT Mill Physical Therapy Podcast. Thank you. So far, there are 329 followers in Spotify, 33 subscribers in YouTube, and 95 followers in Instagram. So thank you to everyone who's supporting the show. Um, Again, if you haven't followed my social media, it's PT Meal Podcast at PT Meal Podcast. You can search for it, Instagram page and Facebook page. And if you want to reach me, you can contact me at or send me an email at ptmealpodcast@gmail.com. Okay, so yeah, you might want to follow me in the Facebook and Instagram because I'm starting have started to release infographics. Is that what they call it? Infographics of some concepts and terms that are, I believe, relevant to our practice. Well, it sure was for mine. I started with geriatric physical therapy. Um, some terms that are really used in geriatric physical therapy. So soon I'll start to look for other concepts and ideas that are in the other areas of physical therapy. So let's go on to the main reason why I started or began this video. Well, I wanted to answer the questions of Grunge Punk. He left the question in the YouTube comment, and I told him that I could answer most of it, but I had to like research for some, and also since uh, it might be something that other people might be asking as well. So I decided to do it in a video, answer it in video. All right. First question was again, the questions were from Grunge Punk. So, first question, he or she said, no agencies are sponsoring now, only said agency. What options do we have so we can still work in the US? Direct employer available? So my answer is yes. There is a direct route wherein you process your everything on your own, from credentialing, from the FCCPT to FSBPT is scheduling your NPTE. NPTE per se, uh, travel visa, then your TOEFL if you need it in the state that you're gonna apply to, then review centers, um, reviewers and stuff. So there is a route, the direct route, if you don't want to go to an agency route. The I guess the main hurdles that you have to prepare for are your time and of course your effort and most especially money. So because you're gonna spend all of you're gonna be the one shouldering all of the expenses. So you might want to see if you're financially capable of doing that uh, process on your own. But yes, there are physical therapists who did it on their own, and I just had a conversation with one physical therapist who did it on his own, and luckily found a headhunter who was really looking for someone to recruit for the US. I was curious when he said that there are no agencies right now that are sponsoring except for that agency that he mentioned in his comment. So I messaged the, what do you call this? One, two, three, four agencies that I know are familiar with, and asked them if they are not really recruiting right now Filipino physical therapists. So the first one that I asked, they said, according to their reply to me in their Facebook page, they still recruit PTs from the Philippines if they meet the requirements. And when I looked at the requirements, it said the Filipino physical therapist should have finished already the NPTE, have already passed the NPTE exam, and has already a DPT. So I asked them if they had any like NPTE DPT program. They said they don't. Okay, so that's a bummer. So the second one, I asked my agency, previous agency, and they said as of the moment they're not recruiting Filipino physical therapists. They're more focused on nurses now because of COVID. The next one is the agency of one of my guests, Joy Nolasco. I asked them if they were still recruiting Filipino physical therapists. They said yes, but as of the moment, there are no positions available. And they sent me the requirements, which include passing the TOEFL. You can join them with or without NPTE, but you also have to have a 6 month current work. So the next one is they said yes, they do still recruit from the Philippines. Just shoot them an email. So if you're curious which agency this is, just send me a message, email, let me know. Um, Next, DPT sponsorship? Question mark. All right, so I had to re-record one of the parts here. The question was DPT sponsorship? Question mark. So I guess he was asking, or he or she was asking, if there are agencies that sponsor DPTs or transitional DPTs. So the agency that I am familiar with that usually sponsors the TDPT for Filipino physical therapists, as I've mentioned, does not sponsor it anymore. But the good news is there are local universities in the Philippines that have tied up with universities here in the U.S. to offer TDPTs in a discounted rate tuition. Uh, One is FEU and RMF. I think so. FEU, University of Montana, and the other one is Southwestern University FINMA, which tied up with Utica. So they are offering TDPTs for Filipino physical therapists in the Philippines with for a discounted rate of tuition. And the other one is the College of Saint Scholastica. I don't believe they have any tied up university in the Philippines, but they do offer the TDPT program for foreign physical therapists, even though they're not in the US. So you might want to check out their websites as well. So, okay, third question. After you finish your contract, what's next? That's a good question. Hopefully, agencies are hopeful that when you finish your contract with them, the facility that you're working at would convert you to become their permanent uh, physical therapist. So hopefully they offer you did good well enough for them to offer you a position in that company. Okay, that this also matters um, if you're on a working visa, because the working visa is tied up with your employer. So your agency is your employer. If your contract ends with them and the facility that you're working at um, does not intend to convert you to their as their full-time employee, then you have to look for a company who would sponsor your visa, or else else you'll go back home. Okay. It would matter less if you have a green card, because once the contract finishes, you are free to work anywhere you want to. Okay. Um, so there, either you convert. So if you have a working visa, you're gonna pray that you get absorbed or converted by that company that you're working at, and they would sponsor your working visa again, a new working visa that ties up with them. Then hopefully, you can ask them if they can sponsor your um, green card as well. The next question was pay rate based on your setting. He was asking about pay rates. So the biggest question there is where, because it matters what state you're gonna practice. Some states would have higher rates than the other states because of cost of living differences. But as a general rule, or historically, travel physical therapists would have higher salaries, travel physical therapists, then home health, then skilled nursing facilities, then acute care, and then outpatient. Outpatient. So acute care is the hospital settings. So travel physical therapists would have higher salary because of the travel difference. You will be assigned 3 weeks to 6 months in one facility, and if your services are not needed there, you'll be moved to different facilities again. So it's, if traveling is good for you, then and you want a higher pay rate, then that might be something you want to consider. Home health is higher because you have to drive around. So there's certain risks with that, but I've been in home health and it was fulfilling because you get to see your patients in their own elements, and you get to appreciate the movements and the activities that they require or that they need to be able to do inside the house. Then your skilled nursing facility and acute care, then again outpatient. All right. Next one is continuing education? Question mark. So I guess he or she was asking, what about continuing education? So my answer is you can ask your agency um, if they had continuing education allowance. My agency had it, and you can use it in books, seminars, license renewal. It can also go to your TDPT tuition or other courses that you want to take, as long as you like just show them the receipts. Okay, it doesn't go to stuff that you buy for work. Like if you're gonna buy for TheraBand, gonna buy Bosubol, it doesn't work that way. So it's for you to enhance your practice. So yeah, you can ask your agencies if they have continuing education allowances, or if they have any tie up with CEU providers. Okay, and lastly is family sponsorship or petition. So if you're going to the US via H1B, then you can process the papers with your family together in the embassy, and they would have, you would have the working visa, and they would have the dependent visa. Your husband would have a dependent visa. Your children would have dependent visas. Um, if you are right at the get go going to the US via a EB2, EB3, or green card, then once you process it together with your family, they would also have green cards. So, um, yeah. So it depends on what visa your agency is gonna process for you. But if you, let's say, you went to the U.S. with a working visa, and your company converts you as their full-time physical therapists, and you may ask them like if they're gonna sponsor you as well with an EB, employer employment based visa, immigrant visa, then they might ask you for something in return, like staying with their company 2 to 3 years, something like that, depending on your on how you negotiate it or speak with them of your needs. Okay, last question. The last question I forgot to record earlier is how much do you spend uh, per month? So he or she was asking me how much I spend per month. Actually, I put it down. I wrote it down. Wait a minute. Okay, so the question was how much do you spend per month? So I am assuming the question was about uh, regular expenses. So, for example, there was a time that I was living on my own in Maryland, and I tried it for a couple of months to see how much I really have to spend on my own without sharing expenses. So there was my rent, my cable, internet, phone. I had my car loan to pay, electricity, my car and renter's insurance, and the gas for my home for winter days. So rent. Okay, so let's add this up. So I wrote it down. So at that time, for my cable, phone, and internet, I pay. I don't know if this is. I think that's Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, it's expensive. Okay, for my cable phone and internet, I paid $273 per month. Then you add that to I pay $450 per month for my car loan. Then 1,100 no, $1,001 for my rent. I pay $125 for electricity, $100 for my renters and car insurance, um, $50 for my mobile phone bill, and $23 for my gas bill at home. Okay, so that's a total of 2,200, no, 2022 dollars. Oh, $2,022, right? So those were my uh basic expenses. So that's rent, cable, internet, and landline, my car loan, electricity, my car and renter's insurance, and my gas for home. Water was already included in rent. Garbage was already included in rent. What else? So there. So $2,022 back then in Maryland. So I won't tell you how much I spend here in California because it's more expensive. So yeah, so it's something that you want to think about as well. You can thrive and survive with even though your expenses are that big with your physical therapy salary, as long as you're getting the correct salary. I hope. So there. I hope I answered your questions, and I hope you do send some more questions. If I can't answer them, I'll let other people answer them. If I mentioned something, if I made a mistake in my answers, let me know as well. Correct me, or send me an updated answer. So I might not I might the things that I've known before might not be correct now, but I'm trying to update myself as well. So there. If you do have some comments in the episodes, don't hesitate to send me some comments, suggestions. If you wanna have someone on the show, you feel like they have something to share to everyone, to the Filipino physical therapy community, then let me know as well. I am always in the hunt for interesting stories and experiences, and also the expertise of our fellow Filipino physical therapists. All right. So I hope to hear from you. I hope you still continue to support the show and pass it along to your friends. I hope you stay tuned and watch the next video, question and answer video of PTMEAL Physical Therapy Podcast TV. Again, this is Johan. Have a good day.